Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. What interferes with your happiness? What are some things standing in the way of being the best version of you? For a lot of people, life, your past, and sometimes your current situation can cause roadblocks in your life. Mental health is incredibly important, and so many, including myself, can benefit from talking to a professional and working to dismantle those roadblocks. That's why I'm excited to talk to you guys about BetterHelp. BetterHelp knows no two people are the same and will help to assess your personal needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. These incredibly convenient appointments are in a safe and completely private online environment, and you can start chatting with your new therapist in under 24 hours. It's not self-help, it's professional counseling. You can message with your counselor at any time and get a timely response, plus schedule weekly video or phone sessions, which means no driving to an office, no waiting rooms, and no awkward small talk. Just meaningful sessions with experts who specialize in things like depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, trauma, family conflict, LGBTQ matters, grief, and so much more. There is truly someone there for everyone. And BetterHelp is committed to finding your perfect match. Which means if you and your counselor don't mesh for whatever reason, they make it easy and free to seek someone new if needed. BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and with financial aid available and access worldwide, they truly make it easy for anyone to seek the help they need. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/morningcup. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
There were 2 more murders 15 miles away.
When police arrived, they found the telephones and electricity lines.
We have a weird homicide.
A scene described by one investigator as reminiscent of a weird
cup of murder. How much attention should we give to a killer? The easy answer is none, because that's exactly what they want, and the last thing we want to give a cold-hearted villain is his time in the spotlight. But in a world that is increasingly interested in the morbid and macabre, it's hard to ignore the tragic stories we see in the news. On May 31st, 2019, a man walked into a municipal building in Virginia Beach and killed 12 and wounded 4 more. A man who, when the Virginia police gave their press conference after the tragedy, vowed to only say his name once. So if you like your coffee hot but your bones chilled, sit back and start your day with a morning cup of murder. Not too much was said about Dwayne Antonio Craddock other than the bare minimal facts. Things like the fact that he was born on October 15th, 1978, graduated from a Newport News high school in 1996, served in the Virginia Army National Guard in Norfolk as a cannon crew member until his discharge, was never deployed for combat, and in 2002, graduated from Old Dominion University with a degree in civil engineering. After that, he worked as an engineer in the city's public utilities department until his resignation on May 31st, 2019, following a scuffle with a fellow employee, mere hours before the unsuspecting, extremely private man turned deadly. You see, despite being described favorably by almost everyone who he met, there was a lot Dwayne's coworkers didn't know about him. Things like his marriage and subsequent divorce a decade later, or that for the last 3 months, he had been slowly but legally purchasing a small arsenal of 6 weapons and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Or that he was on the edge and was ready to snap. On May 31st, 2019, Dwayne Craddock went to the Virginia Beach Municipal Building, as he did almost every day, and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth. Because he was in good standing and his resignation was nothing but amicable, no one took a second glance as their coworker made his trip to the bathroom. It was something he did every single day after eating. He exchanged pleasantries with fellow employees about his plans for the weekend, reported to a job site around 2:30, and acted as if nothing was out of the ordinary. That was until he started shooting. He started by leveling his weapon at a person sitting in their car in the parking lot, and at another walking up the steps at the entrance of the building. As he made his way inside, able to use his security card with ease, he shot at employees wildly and indiscriminately, not looking to target any specific person. Unfortunately, the people inside of the building were unaware that there was a shooter inside, and those who heard the sounds of fire assumed it was a nail gun or tool being used on the building renovations. It wasn't until an email was sent out at 4:22 p.m. that anyone was sure what was going on. Not just that, but when police did arrive, the security doors that Dwayne was able to breeze right through were locked to the responding officers. When they finally made their way through, they engaged Dwayne Craddock in a shootout, and he was fatally injured, dying shortly after at a nearby hospital. In the end, 40-year-old Dwayne injured 4 and took the lives of 12 individuals. 11 were city employees, and 1 was a contractor who came into the building looking for a permit. 6 of those employees worked right alongside Dwayne Craddock. Dwayne, who had up until this moment had only minor traffic violations on his very clean record. Those who perished were Laquita C. Brown, Tara Welsh Gallagher, Mary Louise Crussinger Gale, Alexander Mikhail Gusev, Catherine A. Nixon, Richard H. Nettleton, Christopher Kelly Rapp, Ryan Keith Cox, Joshua O. Hardy, Michelle Missy Langer, Robert Bobby Williams, and Herbert Burt Snelling. The day after the shooting, the local police held a news conference in which they detailed each of the victims in the shooting. At the end, they gave the name of the shooter, vowing it was the first and last time they would ever do so. The Craddock family taped a note to their door that read, "The family of Dwayne Craddock wishes to send our heartfelt condolences to the victims. We are grieving the loss of our loved one." They, along with everyone else, were at a loss for what his motive could have possibly been. It is considered one of the most devastating days in the history of Virginia Beach. Thank you for joining me in my morning cup of murder. Please join me again tomorrow to hear what terrible thing happened on June 1st. Don't forget to rate and subscribe and let me know how you like it. If you want to help support the podcast, there's always Patreon or just sharing it with your true crime obsessed friends. And remember, stay safe.